顶礼坛城做观想大礼拜，礼拜根本传承上师及诸佛。嗡啊吽，观想顶礼，回天心三引，而拜诸菩萨。嗡啊吽，观想顶礼，回天心三引，三拜诸护法金刚。嗡啊吽，观想顶礼，回天心三引，四平等以齐手。恭请法王圣尊莲生活佛升法王座。请师母上座，请仁波切诸位上师上座，教授师法师请上座，同门善信大德请就座。今晚的同修，我们首先欢迎廖东洲大使及夫人朱迪师姐，欢迎周慧芳律师，也欢迎大家来参加同修。同修莲华生大士本尊法开始，观想真佛宗传承。南无大日如来。南无佛眼佛母，南无阿弥陀佛，南无莲花童子，南无莲生活佛，观想师尊以诸佛菩萨诸灵宝光加持，持莲花童子行走7遍。唵咕噜莲生悉地吽，唵咕噜莲生悉地吽，唵咕噜莲生悉地吽，唵咕噜莲生悉地吽，唵咕噜莲生悉地吽，唵咕噜莲生悉地吽。唵咕噜莲生悉地吽，做四无量观，观想右手边有父系亲人，
ancestors and relatives from the father side on your right,
左手边有母系亲人，
from the mother side on your left,
后方有恩人师长，
friends and teachers behind you,
前方有冤亲债主，
enemies and karmic creditors in front of you.
四周有6道众生团团围绕，
All
同
sentient
修密
beings
法
around you,
共
together
成
practicing
佛道，
tantric dharma and ultimately attaining Buddhahood.
做惊醒手印，
Wake up call.
念清净咒及安土地真言。
Recite
唵修利
purification
修利
mantras
玛
and
哈
deity
修利修
mantra.
修利娑哈。 唵修多利修多利修摩利修摩利娑哈。 唵哇热那丹呵呵吽。 南无萨曼多摩多兰。 唵多罗多罗德维娑哈。 念招请咒。 唵
Recite
啊
invocation
吽
mantra.
娑哈。 唵啊吽娑哈。 唵啊吽娑哈。 众弟子一心奉行。
sincerely
南无
invoke
宏观圣
the
冕
Holy
金
Red
刚
Crown
上
Vajra
师莲
Master,
生
His
活
Holiness
佛。
Living Buddha
南无
Linsha.
宏观
The
圣
Holy
冕
Red
金
Crown
刚上
Vajra
师
Master,
莲
His
生
Holiness
活
Living
佛。
Buddha
南
Linsha.
无宏
The
观
Holy
圣
Red
冕
Crown
金刚
Vajra
上
Master,
师
His
莲
Holiness
生
Living
活
Buddha
佛。
Linsha.
同修主尊。南
The
无
main
莲
deity
华
of the
生
good
大
practice
士。
Namo Guru
同修主
Padmasambhava.
尊。南
The
无
main
莲
deity
华
of the good
生大
practice
士。
Guru
同修主
Padmasambhava.
尊。
The
南
main
无
deity
莲
of
华
the good
生大
practice
士。
Guru
南无中央
Padmasambhava.
毗卢遮
Namo
那佛。
Vairocana Buddha
南
at the
无
center.
东方
Namo
阿
Akshobha
出
Buddha
佛
to the。
南
east.
无西
Namo
方阿
Padmasambhava
弥陀
Buddha to
佛。
the
南无南方宝生佛。
Namo
南无
Amrita
北
Namo
方不空
Padmasambhava
成
Namo
就
Amokasiti
佛。
Buddha to
南
the
无
north.
本
Namo
师释
Sakyamuni
迦牟
Buddha.
尼佛。 南无药师佛，
Namo
南
Medicine
无无
Buddha.
极瑶池
Namo
金木
Golden
大
Marble of
天
the
尊，
Primordial
南无
Japa.
地藏
Namo
王菩萨，
Siddhigarbha
南无
Bodhisattva.
莲花童子， 南无观世音菩
Namo
萨，
Padma
南无
Kumara.
文殊师
Namo
利菩萨，
Avalokitesvara
南无
Bodhisattva.
弥勒菩
Namo
萨，
Manjushri
南无
Bodhisattva.
金
Namo
刚萨
Maitreya
埵， 南
Bodhisattva.
无准
Namo
提
Vajra
佛母，
Sattva.
金
Namo
刚护
Jundi
法，
Buddha
通
Mother.
行诸
All
天
Hedukas
神众，
Dhammapalas
十
Dakinis
方
and
三世一
divinities.
切
All
佛，
Buddhas
一
of the
切
three
菩
times
萨
in the
摩
ten
诃萨，
directions. All
南无
Bodhisattvas
摩
and
诃佛
Mahasattvas.
耶
Namo
波罗蜜
Mahaprajna
多。
Paramita.
做观想大礼拜，一拜根本传承上师及诸佛。嗡啊吽，观想
First to
顶
the
礼，
Guru and all
回天
Buddhas.
心善印，二拜诸
Second to all
菩萨。嗡
Bodhisattvas.
啊吽，观想顶礼，
Visualize
回
or
天
position
心
on the
善
ground.
印，三拜诸护法金刚。
Third to all Hedukas and Dharma
啊
protectors.
吽，观想顶礼，回天心善印，是平等
Fourth
一
half
起
bow.
手。大曼达供养，受戒供养手印，观想公平变化无量无边，布满
Form
虚
the offering
空。
mudra and visualize the transformations of the offerings to fill the whole cosmos.
上供根本传承上师，历代
Make
传
the offering
承祖
above to the
师，
lineage root guru,
同
all
修
the
祖
lineage
尊，
gurus, the
莲
main
华
deity of the
生
good
大
practice
士
Guru
一切
Padmasambhava,
眷属，十方
and his
三世一
retinue,
切诸
and
佛
all Buddhas,
萨
Bodhisattvas,
金刚
Hedukas,
护法
Dhammapalas,
龙天
Dakinis, and
通行
divinities, and below to
下
all
施
sentient
六
beings.
道众生。念供养赞及供养咒，须弥四周
Recite
并
offering
日
verse
月，
and
化
mantra,
诸
Mount
珍
Meru,
宝
four
供
continents
养
and sun
佛，
and moon,
种种
transform
珍
into
奇诸
precious
功
offerings
德
for，the
消业速速
Buddhas.
正
May
菩
these
提。
wondrous treasures and
嗡
merits
萨尔
first
瓦
come
达
to
他
all
嘎
of us
达伊达
civilization.
穆咕噜那那门扎那嘎尼尼耶达雅密。做四皈依观想，观想根本传承上师，历代传承祖师，一切诸佛
Visualize all lineage
法
root
宝
guru, all
僧
the
宝
lineage
结
gurus,
合
Buddha
起
jewel,
来，
Dhamma jewel,
成
Sangha
为
jewel
大
to
白
form
光，
bright
给
white
自
light
己
to
灌
empower
顶。
us.
念四皈依咒：南无咕噜贝，南无布达耶，南无达摩耶，南无僧伽耶。南无咕噜贝，南无布达耶，南无达摩耶，南无僧伽耶。南无咕噜贝，南无布达耶，南无达摩耶，南无僧伽耶。做披甲护身，手结金刚合掌手印，念金刚手菩萨真言七
Recite
遍。
Pajapani
唵
mantra
波罗
7
兰遮
times.
利，唵波罗兰遮利，唵波罗兰遮利，唵波罗兰遮利，唵波罗兰遮利，唵波罗兰遮利，唵波罗兰遮利。恭诵一遍《高王观世音经》，奉请八大菩萨。
Recite
南
High
无
King Kuan
观
Yin
世音
Sutra.
菩萨摩诃萨，南无弥勒菩萨摩诃萨，南无虚空藏菩萨摩诃萨，南无普贤菩萨摩诃萨，南无金刚手菩萨摩诃萨，南无妙吉祥菩萨摩诃萨，南无除盖藏菩萨摩诃萨，南无地藏王菩萨摩诃萨，南无诸尊菩萨摩诃萨。 观世音菩萨，南无佛，南无法，南无僧。佛国有缘，佛法相应，常乐我净，有缘佛法。南无摩诃般若波罗蜜是大神咒，南无摩诃般若波罗蜜是大明咒，南无摩诃般若波罗蜜是无上咒，南无摩诃般若波罗蜜是无等等咒。 南无净光明弥佛，法藏佛，狮子吼神诸幽王佛，佛告须弥灯王佛，法护佛，金刚藏狮子游戏佛， 报身佛、神通佛、药师琉璃光王佛、普光功德三王佛、善住功德宝王佛、过去七佛、未来显节千佛、1500佛、15000佛、500花生佛、100亿金刚藏佛、定光佛、六方六佛名号。东宝光月殿月妙尊音王佛、南方属根花王佛、西方照晚神通焰花王佛、北方月殿清净佛、上方无数精进保守佛、下方善济月音王佛、无量诸佛、多宝佛、释迦牟尼佛、弥勒佛、阿处佛、弥陀佛、中央一切众生，在佛世界中者，行诸于地上，即在虚空中，此由于一切众生，各定安稳修习，昼夜修持，心常求诵此经，能灭生死苦，消除诸毒害。南无大明观世音，光明观世音，高明观世音，开明观世音，药王菩萨、药上菩萨、文殊师利菩萨、普贤菩萨、虚空藏菩萨、地藏王菩萨、清凉宝山一湾菩萨、普光王如来化身菩萨，念念诵此经，七佛世尊即说咒曰：尼波尼波得，求呵求呵得，陀罗尼得，尼诃那得。尼尼得摩诃迦得，真灵成得娑哈。尼波尼波得，求呵求呵得，陀罗尼得，尼诃那得。比尼尼得摩诃迦得，真灵成得娑哈。尼波尼波得，求呵求呵得，陀罗尼得，尼诃那得。比尼尼得摩诃迦得，真灵成得娑哈。尼波尼波得，求呵求呵得，陀罗尼得，尼诃那得。比尼尼得摩诃迦得，真灵成得娑哈。尼波尼波得，求呵求呵得，陀罗尼得，尼诃那得。比尼尼得摩诃迦得，真灵成得娑哈。尼波尼波得，求呵求呵得，陀罗尼得，尼诃那得。比尼尼得摩诃迦得，真灵成得娑哈。尼波尼波得，求呵求呵得，陀罗尼得，尼诃那得。比尼尼得摩诃迦得，真灵成得娑哈。十方观世音，一切诸菩萨，是愿救众生，称名悉解脱。若有智慧者，因情未解说，但是有因缘，读诵口不错，诵经满千遍，念念心不绝。火焰不能伤，刀兵你摧折。怒生欢喜，死者变成活。莫言此事虚，诸佛不忘说。高王观世音，能救诸苦厄。临危急难中，死者变成活。诸佛语不虚，是故应顶礼。此诵满千遍，众罪皆消灭。后福坚信者，专攻受此经，愿以此功德普及于一切。诵满1000遍，众罪皆消灭。高王观世音经中。共念7遍往生咒。南无阿弥陀佛耶，多他伽多耶，多得亚他，阿弥尼多波比，阿弥尼多斯坦波比，阿弥尼多比迦南得，阿弥尼多比迦南多，迦尼尼迦迦那，吉多迦尼娑哈。南无阿弥陀佛耶，多他伽多耶，多得亚他，阿弥尼多波比，阿弥尼多斯坦波比，阿弥尼多比迦南得，阿弥尼多比迦南多，迦尼尼迦迦那，吉多迦尼娑哈。南无阿弥陀佛耶，多他伽多耶，多得亚他，阿弥尼多波比，阿弥尼多斯坦波比，阿弥尼多比迦南得。阿弥尼多比迦南多，迦尼尼迦迦那，吉多迦尼娑哈。南无阿弥陀佛耶，多他伽多耶，多得亚他，阿弥尼多波比，阿弥尼多斯坦波比，阿弥尼多比迦南得， 阿弥尼多比迦南多迦尼尼迦迦那最多迦尼娑哈南无阿弥陀佛耶多他迦多耶多地亚他阿弥尼多波比阿弥尼多舍旦波比阿弥尼多比迦南得阿弥尼多比迦南多迦尼尼迦迦那最多迦尼娑哈南无阿弥陀佛耶多他迦多耶多地亚他阿弥尼多波比阿弥尼多舍旦波比阿弥尼多比迦南得阿弥尼多比迦南多迦尼尼迦迦那最多迦尼娑哈南无阿弥陀佛耶多他迦多耶多地亚他阿弥尼多波比阿弥尼多舍旦波比阿弥尼多比迦南得阿弥尼多比迦南多迦尼尼迦迦那最多迦尼娑哈。首节根本上师大白莲花童子手印，观想根本上师大白莲
Our
花
Lord
童
is
子
Guru
三
Mudra,
光
the
加倍。
Padmasambhava Mudra. Visualize the empowerments of the three lights.
此根本上师莲花童子心咒21遍。Om Guru
We said
莲生
Padmasambhava
悉地
mantra
Hom Om
21
Guru
times.
莲生悉地 Hom Om Guru莲生悉地 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 Hom。首节莲华生大士金刚印。
Form Guru Padmasambhava Vajra Mudra. First empty your mind.
眼观空咒3遍。Om Sobhawa Sutta
Recite
Sarva
this in your
Dharma
mantra.
Sobhawa Sutta Hang. Om Sobhawa Sutta Sarva Dharma Sobhawa Sutta Hang. Om Sobhawa Sutta Sarva Dharma Sobhawa Sutta Hang。观想一座蓝色的月轮，
Visualize
从
in
红
the
色
sky
的
a
山
blue
莲华
moon is
光月
arising
亮
from
中
the
处
glorious copper mountain
显现在
of
虚
the
空中。
inconceivable palace of lotus
月轮
light at the
中
Guru
有一个红
Padmasambhava's
色的
pure
种
land.
子字谢
At
字
the
放
center
粉
there is a
红色
reeds,
光，
a red syllable she radiating bright
观
pink
想
light.
谢字旋转，化为
Visualize the
莲华
Sid
生大
syllable
士，
evolves to
大
become Guru
宝冠，
Padmasambhava.
身
He's
粉
wearing a
红
crown,
色，
his body
右
is
手
light
持
pink.
金刚杵，
His right hand is holding a Vajra
左
scepter,
腕夹着三
and his
叉
left
杖，
arm is clutching on the
不坐
kachanka.
于莲华月轮之上，
He's sitting
安
in
住
a
在
half lotus
虚空
position on a
中，
lotus throne in the sky above.
其左手托天灵
His
盖，
left hand is
盖
holding
中
a skull
藏
cup
宝及
filled
甘
with
露。
ambrosia and treasures.
观想行者天机有个
Visualize
唵字放白光，
at our
头
crown
轮
chakra
有
there's
个
a
大字
Om
放红
Sid
光，
syllable radiating
心
white
轮
light.
有个
Ah
大
at
字
our
放
throat
白
chakra
光，
radiating red light,
三
and
光
Home
字
at our heart
红色的
chakra
三
radiating
莲
blue
华光
light.
月亮宫
These
处，
three rays of lights
招起
reach
无
the
尽
inconceivable
莲
palace
华
of
生
lotus
大
light at the
士。
glorious copper mountain to invoke Guru
在
Padmasambhava.
观想莲华生大士全身放射白宝光
Then
明，
visualize Guru Padmasambhava's whole
白
body
宝光明
radiates
及甘露
brilliant
水
precious
从
light,
佛心
which
照望
merges with the
行者，
ambrosia and urges upon us,
将行者的一切罪
purging
业、
all
病
sins and
苦、
karma,
魔障悉消灭，
illnesses, and demonic obstructions, and they are completely gone to allow the emergence of our radiance and self-mastery.
在观想莲华生大士
Then
在虚空中
visualize
飞
Guru
到自己的
Padmasambhava
顶上，
from the sky flies to on top of our heads, and decreases in size to become a drop of light. Our heart chakra opens to become a lotus blossom, and on top of the lotus there is a sixth syllable radiating bright pink light to invoke Guru Padmasambhava to enter the central channel. With the snap of the fingers, we become one with Guru Padmasambhava, inseparable and completely identical. Recite Guru Padmasambhava Heart Mantra 108 times. First perform mala visualization.
持咒 Om Ahom Beja Guru Pema Siddhi Hom Se 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 Hom Beja Guru Pema Siti Hom Se Om 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 Hom Beja Guru Pema Siti Hom Se Hom Beja Guru Pema Siti Hom Se Om 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 Hom Beja Guru Pema Siti Hom Se Hom Beja Guru Pema Siti Hom Se Om 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 Hom Beja Guru Pema Siti Hom Se 做9节佛风有三摩地。 加持八大本尊心咒及念佛。唵阿弥陀瓦瑟，唵嘛呢呗咪吽，唵本那摩林多林梭哈，唵哈哈哈为什么耶梭哈，唵这里主里准提梭哈，唵真巴拉查楞查拉耶梭哈，唵阿吽贝扎咕噜贝玛悉地吽瑟，唵阿吽咕噜贝阿呵萨萨玛哈连生悉地吽。เดียธาอมเปคาเจียเปคาเจียมหาเปคาเจียลาจาสโมแคเตเหโสหะนะโม36万亿1万9500同名同号阿弥陀佛。นะโม36万亿1万9500同名同号阿弥陀佛。นะโม36万亿1万9500同名同号阿弥陀佛。持除瘟疫度母心咒21遍。持咒唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉梭哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉梭哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉梭哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉梭哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉梭哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉梭哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉梭哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉梭哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉梭哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉梭哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉梭哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉梭哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉梭哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉梭哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉梭哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉梭哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉梭哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉梭哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉梭哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉梭哈。唵达拉嘟达拉嘟那那摩哈拉呵拉吽哈拉梭哈。请大家起念请佛注释祈愿文。具得妙善圣尊秘密主，十方世界佛刹成数佛，大悲有情海会众菩萨，护教金刚空行前顶礼，世间三毒炽盛业漫漫，身心摧折轮回苦无休。圣尊明念降生度迷情，三宝于是微光护群生，人天福田所依。金刚身受戒传法灌顶次悉地，佛子齐请注释转法轮，利乐无量无尽众生界。恭诵长寿佛心咒108遍，回向师尊健康长寿。此咒。唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈，唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈，唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈，唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈，唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈，唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈，唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈，唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈，唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈。唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈，唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈，唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈，唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈，唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈，唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈，唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈，唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈，唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈，唵阿玛罗尼祖文帝耶娑哈。唵 Om Amanoni to Wendy Yesoha. 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 Amanoni to Wendy Yesoha. Om 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 Amanoni to Wendy Yesoha. Amanoni to Wendy Yesoha. Om 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 Amanoni to Wendy Yesoha. Amanoni to Wendy Yesoha. Om 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 Amanoni to Wendy Yesoha. Amanoni to Wendy Yesoha. Om Amanoni to Wendy Yesoha. Om Amanoni to Wendy Yesoha. 回向 以此
merit
修行
dedication.
之大愿，
May the
速
great
成
vows
莲
of
华
our
生
spiritual
大觉，
cultivation swiftly
二者合
manifest in the
一
great
无分
realization of
别，
Guru
广度
Padmasambhava.
众生
May
到
both
佛
unite
地，
and are
愿同
indistinct
念
truths
佛
of
者
all， delivering
同
sentient
生极
beings
乐
to the
国，
Buddha land.
上报四
May
重
all
恩，
uphold the
下
Buddha,
济
ascend to
三
the
途
rock
苦，
utmost bliss,
见
bring
佛
forth
了
eternal
生
cities from
死，
above,
由
delivering
佛
those in the
度
three
一
lower
切。
realms.
生佛中
Upon
众
seeing the
弟子
Buddha,
一
we
心祈
transcend
愿
life and
圣
death, like
尊
the
普
Buddha,
智
may we
光
liberate
明
all.
化佛身，光耀
To
圆
Buddha's full
成体
disciples
强健，
wholeheartedly
大乐
dedicate the
自在
merits of
永
this good
相随。
practice.
愿
May
佛
His
长
Holiness
寿
five
住
wisdom
世
lights
间，
transform
与
the
佛
Buddha
同
body,
在得救
illuminate
度。
life, and bestow strong healthy body and
恭请
longevity.
法王
May
圣
His
尊
Holiness
莲生活
continuously in
佛作
samsara to
众
turn
回
to Dharma
向。
wheel with self-mastery and great bliss. Homage to Guru Padmasambhava of the glorious Copper Mountain. Homage to Guru Padmasambhava of the glorious Copper Mountain. Homage to Guru Padmasambhava of the glorious Copper Mountain. We pray to Guru Padmasambhava to guide the Vajra spirits with affinity to be reborn into the pure Buddha fields. We pray that you bless us with all faithful followers with good health. We pray so that the pandemic disappear and coronavirus disappear. We pray to Guru Padmasambhava to bestow abundant resources, to bestow complete wisdom, and to bestow love and respect, to bestow accomplishment in subjugation. Homage to Guru Padmasambhavas of the glorious Copper Mountain. We pray that you manifest and teach, guide, and transform sentient beings. Guru Padmasambhava of the glorious Copper Mountain, glorious copper-colored mountain, and gods in heavens, gods on earth, may all calamities, may we be far from all calamities, may all calamities abandon us, let all disasters turn into deaths, may all of our prayers be granted. Guru Padmasambhava, by your unparalleled Dharma power, please subdue and subjugate the pandemic and the virus, and to subjugate all disasters and catastrophes, and to avert all bad lucks recite 100 syllable mantra 3 times.
Sato Samaya Manu Panaya Peza Sato Tenu Padicha Zezo Me Pawa Soto Kayu Me Pawa Sopo Kayu Me Pawa Annola Me Pawa Sarwa Sidi Me Pulayata Sawa Kama Sota Me Zitamu Sri Yen Guru Hom Ha 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 He Bhagavan Sawa Kata Kata Peza Mami Menta Peza Pawa Mahasamaya Sato A Hom Pei Om Peza Sato Samaya Manu Panaya Peza Sato Tenu Padicha Zezo Me Pawa Soto Kayu Me Pawa Sopo Kayu Me Pawa Annola Me Pawa Sarwa Sidi Me Purayata Sawa Kama Sota Me Zitamu Sri Yen Guru Hom Ha 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 He Bhagavan Sawa Tata Kata Peza Mami Menta Peza Pawa Mahasamaya Sato A Hom Pei Om Peza Sato Samaya Manu Panaya Peza Sato Tenu Padicha Zezo Me Pawa Soto Kayu Me Pawa Sopo Kayu Me Pawa Annola Me Pawa Sarwa Sidi Me Purayata Sawa Kama Sota Me Zitamu Sri Yen Guru Hom Ha 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 He Bhagavan Sawa Tata Kata Peza Mami Menta Peza Pawa Mahasamaya Sato A Hom Pei 做观想大礼拜，100根本传承上师及诸佛。嗡啊吽，
Okay, Home is using visualization. First, the Guru and all Buddhas. Second, all Bodhisattvas.
啊吽，观想顶礼，
Visualize for procession the ground with the Sutra, third to Herukas and Dharma protectors.
啊吽，观想顶礼，
Visualize for procession on the ground, daily Sutra, fourth half bow.
念圆满咒 Om Brim Om Brim Om Brim Om Mani Padme Hum。让我们以热烈的掌声感谢根本上师法王圣尊莲生活佛加持同修圆满吉祥。
Let's give a round of applause to
请
show
大
our
家先
utmost
观赏
gratitude
由真
to
佛
His
佛业藏
Holiness.
的一段影片。
莲生活佛说，
Now
在
let's
三摩地
watch
经中，
a video by
其
Tri
最
Buddha
后的成
Tupapuni.
就，
Living
竟
Buddha
然是
Liansheng said,
读
I am
药
reading a sutra
二
on
字。
meditation that the ultimate attainment in meditative
是独
concentration
自闪
is
耀。
solitary
突然间，
brilliance.
我有了纯
All of a
纯
sudden,
之
I
思，
have this utterly
是
pure
感性
contemplation,
在闪耀，
immaculate
是
thoughts,
知性
which
在
is the
闪耀。
brilliance of the
是
emotion,
佛
the
性在
brilliance of
闪
the
耀。
intellect, the brilliance of the Buddha
我
nature.
愿我的思维
I wish
在
that
那
my
一念经
contemplation at that moment
放射
shines forth
心里
the
的
bright
光芒。
radiance of my heart.
由于莲生活佛
From Living Buddha
2016年
Liansheng's
10
painting
月
on
心
October
中的念念画
2016,
作，构
entitled
图上
Thoughts in
恰
My
如其
Heart,
意的
he
放射
painted
心
the
里的光
rise
芒，
of light of
因
his
而
heart
选为新书
radiating
封面。
brightly.
而这
This
光
painting
芒就如
coincidentally
同
coincidentally
佛
matches this new
2019
book's
年
topic
6
and
月
will
画
be
作
used as
中
its cover.
大海之中任
This
我
rays
行
of， light is like his painting
我
from
见毒
June
药分外
2019
明。
entitled I Swim Freely in the
这样独
Expanse of
自
the
闪
Ocean,
耀着的，
seeing the
毒
solitary
药。
brilliance that is brightly
由于
illuminated.
作者
This
莲
way,
生
the
活
one
佛
emitting the
纯纯的
solitary
思维，
brilliance is the
是在俗
solitary
世五
brilliance.
颜六色、错综复杂
The
的环
author
境
of
中
this book radiates his
闪耀着，
brightness amidst the
为凸
colorful
显
and
效果，
complicated world of
真
the
佛波野
mundane.
藏在
He
既有
is
封面
the
上
solitary
再加一
brilliance.
层书衣，
To create the
期望
desired
就
effect,
在
the
您透过
Biboyik
阅读后，
especially creates
对于
another
作者
layer
纯
of
纯之
extra
思
cover for
可
the
以体
book,
会的更加湛
in
然
the
清
hope that
澈。
after reading the book you can
此
gain
外，
clearer
莲生活
understanding.
佛常说，
In
月球
addition,
有
Living
没有
Buddha
人
Liansheng often says, Are
那么
there
请
human
问
beings on the moon?
在月
No.
球有佛法吗？
Is there
请问
Dharma
在月球
there?
有善
No.
恶吗？
Anything there
请
referred
问
as
在月
good
球
or
有
bad?
荤的有素的吗？
Any
它
plant-based
是
or
经过修行的
animal-based
淬
diet?
炼，从二元论进入了一元论的思维。这种思维，
Through a long
莲
and
生活
arduous
佛
spiritual
就把它
cultivation,
称
his
为
views went
纯
from
纯之
dualism
思，
to monism.
而纯纯
Living Buddha
是
Liansheng
绝对，
refers to
是
this
纯
kind of
粹，
contemplation
是
as
一，
immaculate
是零。
thoughts.
这是至高
Immaculate
的境
refers
界。
to zero, to
这些
one,
思
to
维的演
zero,
变
to the
与经
highest
历，
realm. They are
作
the
者在书中
transformation and
运
progression
用现
of
实
his
的案例，
contemplation.
篇
The
篇文
author
章的导
used
引，
real-life
让
examples
我
in
们体
each of the
悟
articles to
如何
guide us
从无所
from
得，
having nothing to gain
进而
to
无所
progress
求。
into nothing to
由
ask
于因
or
无所
expect,
求
and from
而
nothing
无
to
心，
expect, one enters
无
the
我，
realm of no mind, no self,
最终深入到
and ultimately
人空、
to enter the state of
法
emptiness
空、
of human being,
人法皆空，
emptiness of all phenomena, and that all
空
self and
空
phenomena
空的
are
境界。
empty, empty, empty,
因此
empty.
真佛波野藏在书内附赠一张
Inside
莲
this
生活
book,
佛
D.B. Poyen
2014
includes
年
a
6月
copy of His
空
Holiness
空
calligraphy
空
from June
复制墨
2014,
宝，祈愿
which
大
is
家
empty,
一起回
empty,
归真
empty,
佛。
with the wish
所
that
以
everyone will
敬
become a
请
true
期
Buddha.
待即将于2021
So
年
please
9
await
月
its
5
global
日
publication
全球
on
同步
September
发
5th.
行的莲生活佛卢胜彦文
Book
集
number
第285册
285,
纯
The
纯之思，
Immaculate Thought.
让我们一起体会
Let us
真
all
如无所
savor
不在的禅
the
意，
inspiration
无所
we
求
will
的
obtain from
浪
this
漫
book,
诗意，
the
与
immaculate
无干
thoughts
涉的
on the
心意，
profundity of the
这些湛然
omnipresent
清
true
澈的思
substance,
维。
the poetic intricacy of nothing to expect, and the heart seal of
这
none
是
of
法
my
王圣
business.
尊莲生活活的新书第285册《纯纯之思》，又有新的封面设计，大家都很期待。那么呢，西雅图雷藏寺呢将在下
This
周
is
六
book
9月
number
4号提前销
285,
售
The，
并恭
Immaculate
请法王
Thought.
圣尊莲生
So
活活
next
签
Saturday,
书哦。
here
感
at the
谢师尊，
Seattle
谢谢
Lechang
真佛佛
Temple,
业长。
the books will be available for purchase and
敬
for
献
book
哈
signing.
达，请大家恭敬合掌。
The
请
offering
释
of
莲宁法
Hatha.
师代表全体弟子
Now we
向
would
法
like
王
to
圣尊
invite
莲生活
the
佛请法
Venerable
敬
Silian
献
Ning
哈
to
达，
present the
以
offering of
表
Hatha
最
to the
崇
lineage
高
of
敬
Guru
意。
as a symbol of the highest honor.
“请大家一起恭敬合掌，恭请法王圣尊莲
Now
生
let
活
us
佛
join
做
our
宝
palms
贵
with
的
reverence
法
and
语
together
开
we invite His
示。”
Holiness to bestow the precious Dharma teachings. Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Mang Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Zengkong. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Thupten Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. And the Buddha, the Dharma, and Sangha. Homage to the main deity of the good practice tonight. From the glorious copper-colored mountain Pure Land, Guru Padmasambhava. Sumo, Danzen Gatso, Thupten City, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, all disciples present here and over the internet. Good evening, everyone. How do you do? I stayed.
啥人个？Hola amigo. ¿Qué quiero mucho? すごい。一番気持ちいい。注意。Yapi. Pirin pirin. こんばんは。以前
Good evening, everyone.
莲花生大师
In the past,
有讲，
Guru Padmasambhava once said,
只要你敬师
as long as you respect the Guru, treasure the Dharma, and practice diligently,
念他的圣号，
and
念
you
他的
chant his epithet or name or heart mantra,
那么莲花生大师
then Guru Padmasambhava
显现在你的面前
will appear in front of you.
他讲
He has said
显
that
现在你的面前。
he will appear right in front of you.
刚刚我们修他的法的时候啊，
Just now, when we
这个
practice his
莲花
Dharma,
生大师
Guru Padmasambhava
显现在虚空之中。
appeared in the sky.
他的净土
And his Pure Land
色山净土。
is the copper-colored mountain Pure Land.
那么他原来也是克什米尔，
Oh, it's
克
called
什米尔
Kamaradipa.
那里的
And originally, he was from Kashmir.
从那里所发生的一切，
So
接着
it was manifested from there.
真王引请
And then through the invitation by King
共
Trizong
度
Dechin,
10年，
he was in Tibet for 50 years.
他有这样子的，所以他的
So he was
西
like
藏的
that.
密教跟
So
源于
Tibetan Tantrayana
莲华生大师
originated from Guru Padmasambhava.
虽然
And
他是
Guru
红教
Padmasambhava,
祖师，红
although
教
he was the founder
是
or the leader of the Nyingma
释教共
of the Red sect, but he's highly revered by all four sects of Tibetan Buddhism.
那么在还没有说法之前呢，
And before the Dharma teaching,
先讲一个笑话，
I would first like to share a
说不
joke,
定讲两个。
or maybe two.
这个有一个这个土人对他的这个酋长讲：“大哥，
A
明
native
天是初一，
told his
要吃素，
chief that
但是我们是
Big
食人
Bro
族，
tomorrow
怎么办？
is the first day of the lunar month and we have to eat vegetarian
没关
food.
系的，
But we are
这还有很
cannibals,
多的
so what should we
食物
do? And then the chief replied, don't worry, there are a lot of people in vegetative state. In Chinese it's called a vegetable person or vegetated person.
第二个笑话，
The second joke,
为什么大了，年纪大
why
了就没有那
when
种
you're old,
年少的小鹿乱撞的感觉？
how come you don't have the feeling of excitement where your heart beats. In Chinese, it's like the little deer jumping all over, and the deer, after jumping so much, probably died. So just now we watch what D.B. Boye produced on the latest book, Immaculate Thought, or Utterly Pure Contemplation. Perhaps when you heard the title of the book, that you may think that what I wrote there is about those little deer jumping everywhere. Even just the title of the book, some people already make wild guesses. Oh, Grandmaster is talking about his romance again. But I'm a monk in my 70s. The little deer is dead long ago. The deer's been dead long ago. But you're looking at me. Do I still have that immaculate thought? Yes. Is it the Buddhist kind of thoughts, or is it the kind of thoughts of the little deer, or the, fast heartbeats? You cannot mix them up. So now we move on with the topic of question and answer. Homage to the most beloved and precious lineage root Guru, Living Buddha Liansheng. In the book Heavens Beyond the Heavens, there is an article about the pure goddess. So what is the meaning of that? Could you please advise us? The youthful goddess, the superb youthful goddess. So let me talk about the dialogues with the youthful goddess. How come you know so much? And she replied, I'm the consort of Kalachakra. And I asked, wow, that's incredible. As a consort, you have such attainments? And she replied that Kalachakra is an emanation of Sakyamuni Buddha. And I asked, can you tell me the unexcelled pith instruction? And she replied, the correct or the divine knowledge. And then I asked, what is realization or enlightenment? And she replied, absolute, not dualism, non-dual, which means no dualism. And this Lianhua Yaye paid homage and asked, what is the profundity of this non-dual? And the answer is non-dualism. So no non-dual, that means it's one, right? Single, mono. So just one answer, no second answer. What is the profundity of it? Now let me ask everyone, if you answer this question, how do you answer this question? Any master or the virtuous one, the virtuous master, the virtuous referent, and any others? No relatives, no relatives, no relativity, absolute. Emptiness. That form and emptiness are no different. Anything else? That everything is natural and unspeakable. All of them is correct. So that's the answer to 莲花雅乐. So you heard it, right? Thank you. So we have lots of high noble and virtuous ones here, bhikkhus, bhikkhunis, upasaka, upasikas that have reached a very high realm in their spiritual cultivation. So have you heard 莲花雅乐? That would be fine then. Next question from Taiwan. 莲花洞. What is this? 洞. So his name or her name, his name is only 3 characters, 莲花洞. There's a joke. There's a reporter that went to the North Pole interviewing the penguins that was lined up on a line. So he asked the first one, "What do you do every day?" And the penguin replied, "Sleeping, eating, and then hit dong dong." Hit dong dong is kind of like it can't do anything. It can apply to anything. And then the second one, and finally everyone replied the same one except the last one. "How come you didn't say hit dong dong?" And he replied, "Because I am dong dong." Dong dong is like things in Chinese, which can mean anything. So you're the one that was beaten, huh? 莲花洞. If there's someone with half true Buddha lineage and half Tibetan Buddhism, a spiritual cultivator with the lineage half true Buddha school, half Tibetan Buddhism, and he has gained spiritual response in his practices and has attainments in his inner tantric practices. But he was not a master of Buddha school, but he starts to receive disciples. Can we give him a lineage? So his lineage, half is Buddha school, half is Tibetan, and he has gained spiritual response from his practice and also has attainments in his inner tantric practices, but he's not a master conferred by the Buddha school. Is this person an ordained monk or nun? Is he or she? And is it a lay practitioner? He didn't say it clearly here. He just said half and half, and has gained spiritual union and fruitions in inner tantric practices. Let me ask you another question. Who has proven that he has gained spiritual response or spiritual union in his practice? Who has confirmed that he has fruition in his inner tantric practices? Who has confirmed it, that he has attainments? It's not based on what you said. You can say, oh, I've gained spiritual union, and my inner tantric practices have fruition. Now I can become a guru to my disciples. No, that's not the case. In the past I said, all of our Dharma masters are ordained monks and nuns. And you have to have been a monk or a nun for over 10 years. Then you can accept people as your disciples. So if you have been a monk or a nun for over 10 years and someone wants to take refuge in you, yes, you can accept them. Our Dharma names start with the character Lian, which means lotus. And the second one is Gong, which means respect. In my opinion, Grandmaster has taken refuge in many gurus. Gurus from Mahayana Buddhism, like the Master In Xun, Master Le Guo, the Venerable Le Guo, the Venerable Tao An. They were gurus to whom I took refuge in. Gurus from Mahayana Buddhism, and I have several from Tantric Buddhism, some that belong to Tibetan Tantrayana or the Eastern or Japanese Tantrayana. I have taken refuge in several of them. And the lineage includes Tibetan Tantrayana, Japanese Tantrayana, and Mahayana. They're all there. So if you have a lineage from you already have lineage from Tibetan Tantrayana, Japanese Tantrayana, and Mahayana, And now you're saying that you have half from the Tibetan lineage. Which one? But I have lineage from Nyingma, which is through the Venerable monk Liao Ming. And for Kagyupa is from His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And for Gelugpa, it's through Master Dubdan Darji. And for the Sakya sect, is through Master Sakya Zengkong or the Zhong Rinpoche. And yet you still take refuge in other Sadaka from Tibetan Buddhism. Of course you can take refuge, however, which one? Which is your true lineage? If you're an ordained person, then you can accept people as your disciples. If you are an ordained person that has been for over 10 years, then you can accept disciples. And if you have the true Buddha school lineage, then your disciples should have the Dharma name starting with Gong, the character, Chinese character Gong, which means respect. Now this is clear, right? So that you need a true spiritual union and true attainments in your inner tantric practices. You don't have to be granted the title of a master or acharya. That's just a ritual. That's just in the name. There are many upasaka and upasikas, the lay practitioners, who have attainments. It doesn't have to be ordained. Especially, it's really bad. Someone came to our Seattle Leisang temple, and at the door saw a monk or a nun, and they crossed their arms. What are you doing here? And the visitor stood outside the doors. Oh, at the doors. I want to go in and pray to the Buddhas. Is it allowed? Sure. And they said, I've never seen a nun before would talk with their arms crossed. I've visited many other temples, and the bhikshus and bhikshunis always very kind and friendly. Welcome. Very happy that you come here to pray to the Buddhas. So, allowed or not allowed? Is there such a case that they're not allowed? And the face and the postures like that. And that was a big boss. And he has many employees, and he manages lots of people. And you treated him like that nun? Okay, one more case. A lay practitioner entered the temple to pray and bringing flowers and fruits and lots of stuffs. And we have several tables here. and they were about to put some of the longevity buns. And she said, you cannot place anything on the tables because it's for placing the longevity buns. And so the lay practitioner put the offerings on the table because she did not know. Of course, you could not place it here on the altar. It was prohibited to put offerings, but there are tables there, and she put it on the table and lit the incense to pray. And that person who said that cannot put that and got in and yelled, "Who placed it here? I told you cannot put it there." And then she took them down and put it where? On the ground? On the floor? Is that necessary? Just let her put them there, and after they pray, they would bring it back. Do you need to be so unfriendly, to be so... Who would dare to come in the future? You have to be so hostile. It's so bad here for us. This is the head center, the head temple of True Buddha School. And our hospitality is like that. It's so bad. The way Simu did, as soon as someone came to our house, they would be served tea. Would greet them and welcome them. That's why we have so many followers, because Simu works so hard to get the phones and to be kind and explain and always serve tea to anyone visiting. Master Thupten Dorji went to the Taiwan Lizang Temple. Nobody recognized him then. And lastly, Master Lian Wang saw Master Thupten Dorji. And Lian Wang was very friendly and politely asked him. He took a photo of Grandmaster paying homage to Master Thupten Dorji and showed it to Master Lian Wang. And then he realized, oh, that's the guru of my guru. And then he was very polite to him. But Master Thupten Dorji told me, nobody served me tea. I didn't even have any water to drink. How come we have so many followers? Because Simu served tea. Anybody visiting would be served tea. When I give spiritual consultation, each guest, each visitor would have a drink of tea. Our benefactors of the Lizang Temple, and when they come and visit, anybody here ever served the benefactors tea? Anybody here at the Seattle Lizang Temple? Please raise your hand if you have ever served anyone tea. Or you pour some of the Great Compassion water for them. Anybody else? I give them some bottled water. You need to know to be polite. The reason why True Buddha School prosper is because of our benefactors. Don't look down upon the lay practitioners. So the food that you eat is what kind of food? It's given by your benefactor. They're all your patrons, your benefactors. Everyone that comes to our Seattle temple is our patron. We have to be polite. This is the basic of being a human being. And you still ordained. And you still ordain. You should really be beaten. So, should we give that person a True Buddha lineage? If you truly gain spiritual union and has fruition, that depends on that person, not for us. If that person has cultivated spiritually, whether it's the noble lay practitioners or bhikshu, bhikshunis or upasaka, upasikas, and you have true attainments, and you want to accept disciples, whatever lineage you want to give, it's up to you. Grandmaster cannot meddle with it because you already have attainments. If it's fake, then that's the fake one. It's up to you. You decide for yourself. The second question. So a sadhaka that has lineage from Tibetan Buddhism, can they practice together with us? Can they see or hear the visualization of path instructions of the True Buddha School sadhana? So, if he relies on True Buddha School, a Tibetan Buddhist sadhaka relies on True Buddha School and receive empowerments, then sure, he can. But if he has not, then no, he's not allowed. Very simple answer. 3. So if masters or yogis from other schools have attended Grandmaster's ceremony and have gained spiritual union through his practice, but Grandmaster is just a guru and not the root guru, can he bestow lineage to Buddha school lineage to him? All these 3 questions talk about the mixture of True Buddha school lineage and other lineage. So the third question. So if masters or yogis from other sects attended Grandmaster ceremonies and also has spiritual union with his yidam, and yet Grandmaster is just a guru to him and not the lineage guru, can he bestow the True Buddha school lineage to his disciples? Well, if he does not treat Grandmaster as his root guru, why would he grant True Buddha lineage to his disciples? If you have your own lineage already, why don't you just give that lineage? Why do you want to give the true Buddha lineage? That's such a mess. So, 莲花东东, we should beat 莲花东东from the joke.
这个小学的作文题目，喝茶的好处。题目是喝茶的好处。
The title of elementary school composition, The Benefits of Drinking Tea. A student said, wrote, there are many benefits to drinking tea. My grandpa often goes to the tea house Wanhua, and his spirit is always very high and happy and smiling all day long. And then the score that the teacher gives is like, okay, let your grandma sign this.
这个另有含义啊！你如果是知道台湾这个万华茶艺馆的，大家都知道，就知道这个很好笑。
If you know about the Wanhua Tea House in Taiwan, then you would know that this is a funny joke.
小明跟爸爸讲，今天
Xiaoming told his dad, today is a history exam, and it asked, who is Lao Tzu? And I couldn't answer, no matter what. And the dad said, oh, Xiaoming, I raised you for nothing. And Xiaoming asked, why? And dad said, you see me all the time. And you couldn't even think of it, that Lao Tzu is me. Lao Tzu. But there's a different meaning of Lao Tzu, which is like the old man. But actually, the teacher was asking about Lao Tzu, the philosopher. Today we will continue on the Vajra Sutra. Sibuddhi asked Sakyamuni Buddha, right? When good man and good woman give rise to the mind of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, how should they dwell in their minds and how should they master their minds? I talk about Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi mind. And Lianzu Master Lianzu replied, the perfect realization and enlightenment. And then he took away a chanting bead, a wrist chanting bead. Now I want to ask you. I am asking now. What is the right? What is the right equality and the right realization? So 正等正觉. Now it's dissected. Master Lianzu already said it's 正等正觉. It's easy to say, but what is the deep meaning or profundity of it? You have to know the most important meaning. Where is it? Sakyamuni Buddha said, when he attained the perfect enlightenment, he did the three turnings of the Dharma wheels. You know, the first one of the turning was at the deer park. That's the wheel of the small vehicle of the suffering, the accumulation of suffering. and the extinction of suffering, and the path.
我现在问你哦，
That's the first turning of the Dharma wheel at the deer park. Now let me ask you, where is the second turning of the Dharma wheel, and what was he talking about? Where and what?
二转法轮在哪里讲的？啊？鹿野苑是一转法轮。
The deer park was for the first turning.
啊，第一转法轮在鹿野苑讲的苦集灭道。
Talk about the Four Noble Truths. Grandmaster have talked about that.
二转法轮在哪里讲？
And where was the second turning of the wheel?
多年，
You've been a Buddhist for many years.
释迦牟尼有三转法轮，现在问
And
二转
Sakyamuni
法轮
Buddha
在哪
did
里讲？
3 turnings of the Dharma wheel.
竹林精舍，
At
他讲
the
二转法轮
Bamboo
在
Grove
王
Monastery.
舍城，王舍城讲二转法轮。
Wang Se-chen
好了，
is...
那讲的是什么？
and what did he talk about?
波叶，还有呢，
About Prajna.
它的意义在哪里？在无相。
And the meaning is in the no phenomena. Formless.
没有这个
No
一个相，无相。
phenomena.
现在问你，三转法轮在哪里讲？
And now let me ask you, where is the third turning of the
在
Dharma
哪个
wheel?
城？哪一个城？讲的是什么？
And what did he talk about then? 三转法轮在莲华城， The third turning of Dharma wheel was at the
讲的是了义。
Lotus City. And he was talking about the ultimate.
所谓正等，什么是正等？
So what is Zheng Deng?
无
Zheng
相
is the
就
correct.
是正等。
So
什么是正觉？
formless or no phenomena is
了
Zheng
义
Deng.
就是正觉。
And the ultimate is Zheng
这太
Jue.
深了吧？我讲的
Liao Yi is Zheng Jue.
啊，金刚
The
经本来
ultimate
就很
is the
深了
perfect
啊
enlightenment. This is very deep and
了无相
profound, right?
就是
And
正
Vajra Sutra is very profound. So when it talks about
讲两个
no
什么
phenomena, that's
什
Zheng
么是
Deng.
正等？
So it talks about two
平
wisdom.
等性质
What is Zheng Deng, which is the
就是正等。
correct equality. So the nature of equality.
大圆镜智
And the mirror-like wisdom, that's the ultimate.
佛法里面的两个非常重要的。
These
释
are
迦牟尼
two
佛
very
有
important
三转法
key points in
讲
Buddhism.
出它的正
So
等
Sakyamuni Buddha
第一个
gave
是
3 turnings of the Dharma,
灭道，就是
Bodhidharma
真理。
and talk about the
所谓
highest and
地
perfect
土
enlightenment.
地极地
So it talk about the 4 noble
道
truths.
地灭地，
So sufferings,
全部
the
都是正
accumulation of
了义
sufferings, the way to
一个
extinguish
眼
sufferings,
一个
and the
房
path.
子的正。这个地日
So
就是
truth,
真理，
that's
土
the
地
truth.
灭道就是
So
真
the
理
4 noble truths, that's the ultimate truth.
平等
And equality
就是真理，
is also the ultimate truth.
圆满了义
Perfect. And the
无相
ultimate,
也是
that's
真理。
also the truth.
金刚经里面讲的
And
就是
formless
正
or
等
no
正
phenomena is also the truth. And Vajra Sutra is talking about this.
啊，大家
正
用
等正
脑筋稍微
觉
想一想看，
the correct equality and the perfect enlightenment. So you need to understand this. So as I continue to expose Vajra Sutra, you will understand what is this Zeng Teng Zeng Jue. Third, chapter 3, the great vehicle, the proper great vehicle. Chapter 3, the great vehicle. What is that? Tantrayana is also one kind of the great vehicles. So remember, Tantrayana is also Mahayana or great vehicle. Great vehicle includes many different sects. So what is the proper, the true meaning, the ultimate, the authentic, the ultimate of the great vehicle? The Buddha told Subhuti, all bodhisattvas should master their minds in the following way. All sentient beings, whether they are born from eggs or wombs, through moisture or emanations, whether they are tangible or intangible, with or without thoughts, or without thoughts and no thoughts, I will liberate and deliver them without remains. However, no sentient beings are liberated or delivered. Why is this, Subhuti? Because if a bodhisattva holds a view of self, others, sentient beings, and lifespan, then he is not a bodhisattva. So this excerpt here has matched the correct equality and perfect enlightenment. So the Buddha said, whether born from eggs or wombs, through moisture or emanations. So let's talk about this first. Born from eggs. We ate tomato fried eggs. Eggs, that's ovum. When I was a soldier in the military, when I was in the military school, there people always like that. It's the tomato fried eggs. We often eat it here too. So as monks, it's about like the soldiers. I'd eat tomato fried eggs every day. So born from eggs. I've been here for so long, but I've never eaten any turtle's eggs. So turtles are born from eggs too. They were hatched from eggs. That's why we also have turtle's eggs. That's the reason. Someone went to the restaurant to eat tortoise or turtles. There were 5 of them, and they called on the waitress. They wanted to eat turtle at the restaurant and asked the waitress to divide it into 5. And the waitress said, no, I cannot do it. It's impossible for me to do it. Why? Because but there are 6 turtle eggs and 5 for you. But turtle eggs in Chinese is 2 to curse on the son of a bitch. So of 5 of you, there are 6 sons of bitch, or turtles' eggs. So that's born from eggs. And what is born through moisture? Many of them. All living beings in water, and they are all called born through moisture. There are many of them. So a true vegetarian, they should not get vaccines. You know why? Because if you get vaccinated, then you kill the coronavirus. Because the virus also a living being. They're alive. Right? So the vegetarians just can die. You kill. Because if you get vaccinated, you kill them, right? They are born through moisture. Many viruses, many germs. A cup of clean water has 84,000 germs in it. If you don't chant mantra, you're killing them. You're performing the act of killing. Even the plants are also living beings. And you pull them out, and when you cut the carrots, they cried. So they don't cry if you pull them out. They can grow. They have cells. So you think not to kill, you want to be a vegetarian? That's wrong. You know who recommended eating vegetarian food is the Emperor Liang, Emperor Wu of the Liang dynasty. The Thai monks and nuns don't eat vegetarian food. They still maintained they're closest to the antique or to the ancient tradition, especially the Chinese Buddhism. It changed a lot. It changed by the Emperor Wu of Liang, with abstain from eating meat, and also to have like incense marks. In Thailand, they don't have those. Why do they ask us to have those marks or like incense burned? Emperor Wu of Liang, although he was an emperor, but he messed up the whole harem. He married the most gorgeous woman of his kingdom. When he placed the capital, so whoever lost to him, he would get all the concubines to his harem. So his real wife, the first wife, regretted that Emperor Liang. You know, ever since she never saw him again. You know, the Emperor Liang was a pig, a real pig, very horny. And how many children did he have? So the most gorgeous concubine, and he occupied her, and then gave birth to 2 daughters who had incest with uncles, etc. So it was very messy. It was really horrible. And Emperor Wu was really horrible. And we often use the Emperor Liang's repentance, but that did not belong to Emperor Wu of Liang. He asked the monks and nuns to compile and to do it. It's not his. It's to pray for his queen. He was such a pig. He was really bad, horrible. And he saw many maids in the palace, and there was a breeze, and then lift up their skirts and saw her leg, and he wanted her for that night. Do you know the Emperor Wu of Liang? Every time he encountered adversity, he became a monk and went to the Tongtai temple next door. So just next to the palace that he built a temple, and he became a monk there. And then all of his ministers got him back, and then he became a king, an emperor again. And then every time he encountered a problem, he would become a monk again, and then they got him back again. And then the third time he became a monk again, and they got him back again. That's retribution. So lastly, he died of hunger in the palace. Where was I? I don't criticize Emperor Wu of Liang. He was son of God that built lots of temples. So born from wombs through moisture. So being vegetarian was set up by Emperor Wu of Liang. And then the incense burn, that's also set up by Emperor Wu of Liang. So that's why the Chinese Buddhism became what it is today. So born through emanations, it's from breath. All this COVID-19 virus came from the air. They were emanated, and they can transform, mutated. If you are isolated at home, you become mutated to become fat, become heavy. So emanations, it can transform. So with the combination of two, it would change. That's emanation. And then born from wombs, like human beings and many animals too. And there are also many animals born from eggs. Birds and avians also from eggs. But there are many animals born from wombs too. So what does it mean? Equality. Why Buddha talk about this? It's about equality. Whether they're tangible, intangible, with or without thoughts, or without thoughts and no thoughts, I will liberate and deliver them without remains. That's equality. So what is the Nirvana without remains? What is, I have talked about this. There is no causes or conditions to be born, or no causes and conditions to cease or to die. So that nirvana without remains. You will not be born again and you will not die again. That's called nirvana without remains. So you have even worse memory than this old man that has bad memory. So whether they're tangible or has form, what this form mean? This form here is not about sex. Grandmaster speaking Cantonese about loving sex or tasting good. So how do you say it? So sex maniac is not this, okay? So it has forms or no forms. So what don't have forms? So what don't have forms? Like viruses or germs. But coronavirus has form. It's round and it has a wear crown. You can see it under the not telescope. Microscope. So ghosts have no forms. So the Bardo spirits also have no forms, right? So with thoughts, those with thoughts or those without thoughts, what things have no thoughts? Even plants have thoughts. Rocks have no thoughts. But strictly speaking, they have. Look at a gem, a jewel. They have some magnetic field. If you cut it in half, the magnetic field would decrease by half. It will not be shiny anymore. Or the other half would have, the other half don't. That's proven scientifically. It's hard to find things with no forms or without thoughts and no thoughts. So in between, no thoughts and no thoughts. So sometimes you have thoughts, sometimes you don't. Sakyamuni Buddha will liberate and deliver them to Nirvana without remains. I had explained the Nirvana without remains. So the one with no causes and conditions to be born or to die. And extinction and delivered. So of the innumerable sentient beings, so he had liberated and delivered innumerable sentient beings. Who would like to do that? there was a bodhisattva, a person, a bodhisattva that's doing that. He vowed in front of many Buddhas that I want to liberate and deliver all sentient beings. If I don't liberate and deliver them, if I don't apply my vow, my head would split. That's Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, who made this vow in front of all the Buddhas. That was called Sijidifo. So Siyi, oh jeez, 100 million eons Buddhas, so many Buddhas. So if he abandoned his vow, then his head would split into pieces. So Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva was extremely compassionate, and the number of sentient beings he delivered is the most. That's all for today. Do you know why? This is for Chinese. That on the 1st of the 7th lunar month, the gates to hell is open, and yet the universal deliverance is on the 15th of the 7th month. You know why? You don't know? And the master replied, because they have to be isolated for 14 days. COVID-19. Oh, so the pandemic these days is incredible. Everything has to be 14 days. This is a joke, only meaningful to Chinese. It's okay. Yeah, it's only meaningful in Chinese. Go to the shop called 28 to buy something. And where is 28? It's over there, around the corner. But isn't that called 7 times 4? But it's a homophone of the other name. Yeah, but 7 times 4, isn't that 28? So just go to 28. And there are many chain stores in Taiwan called that sounds like 7 times 4. That's all for tonight. Om Mani Padme Hum.
非常感谢法王圣尊年生活佛宝贵的法语开示。雷藏寺有以下法务活动向大家报告。明天8月29日星期日下午3点，法王圣尊年生活佛将在雷藏寺主持勾财天女护法会，讲授金刚经文词汇，传授法会，讲授
and to preside over Manohara Homa fire offering
将
ceremony.
在彩虹内藏寺庆陵祖坛每年传统的秋季大法会辛丑年阿弥陀
And
佛
on
超度西
September
斋主
5th,
福护摩大法
Sunday
会
at 3
早
p.m.,
上
it would
法
be
会
the
当日
annual
早上
grand
11点半
ceremony
主
for
持
Bardo
升级仪
deliverance
式，
of
欢迎大家
Amitabha
踊跃
Buddha
参加升级
at
我
the
请
Rainbow
听早
Temple
祭
in
日
North
彩
Bend,
虹内藏
Washington.
寺一
And
言相
on the
遇。
same day at 11:30
恭
a.m.,
请法王
His
圣尊
Holiness will
严生
perform
活
the
佛
ritual
加
of
持大悲咒
Sangji,
水
the life
即为佛
foundation
像开
burial
光。
ritual. And now we are inviting His Holiness to consecrate Buddha images and to bless the Great Compassion Holy Water. This ends the English interpretation today. Thank you very much.
顶礼坛城做观想大礼拜，一拜根本传承上师及诸佛。嗡啊吽观想顶礼，回天心三印。二拜诸菩萨。嗡啊吽观想顶礼，回天心三印。三拜诸护法金刚。嗡啊吽观想顶礼，回天心三印。四平等一起手。恭请师尊加持与会大众。同修会圆满吉祥结束了，感谢大家，网络直播到此结束。We now conclude this live broadcast. Thank you for viewing.